800 single migrant men have moved into a makeshift emergency city-run tents outside the Creedmoor Psychiatric Center in Queens, New York, but more specifically in Congressman George Santos's congressional district. We are back now with Congressman Santos. We talked to him, said we're going to talk some policy. We'll talk some policy. What's the solution?
Oh, the solution is close the border. Acknowledge that we have a humanitarian crisis at the southern border.
No asylum, nothing?
Close the border.
Nothing.
Funnel them through ports of entry. Stop taking them in when they're over the border. No, send them back. Direct them to a port of entry. I saw this firsthand when I was in El Paso. If we put them through the proper channels, we slow in the intake. We have a capacity. We just need to draw the line and stop saying we don't have a capacity. We have a capacity at intake at the border. We have a capacity to accommodate these migrants, even the asylum seekers. And also, we need to expand immigration courts. We need more judges. We need more USCSI agents. We need people to process.
But that's a Congress issue, right? I mean,
it is.
Right. And so it's always, oh, the president this, Trump did this, Biden didn't do this, whatever the case may be. It doesn't happen unless Congress passes legislation. And the reason Congress can't pass legislation on immigration is because the far right is going to complain and the far left is going to complain with any compromise. And as a result, you guys aren't going to get anything done.
Well, can you imagine how it feels to be like me there, where I'm trying to just do common sense legislation along with other members of my party and other members of the other side of the aisle? We have these conversations on the House floor. H.R. 2 passed. Partisan lines, it passed. We voted for it. It's in the Senate. Chuck Schumer refuses to move it forward. Chuck Schumer doesn't want to fix the immigration crisis because they think this is to their benefit. Somehow, I don't see how. But when you have members of the Progressive Party like Jamal Bowman going on camera and saying, we look really bad here, we need leadership from the president, that's indicative of what's going on here and what they're hearing from their constituents. Let's close the borders. Let's really expand. Take the money.
Wait, again, when you say close the borders, you mean no asylum seekers?
No, I don't mean that.
So you don't mean literally.
Literally close the non-ports of entry. Do not allow people across the Rio Grande.
Because the migrants who are now in your district, right, are people who came in legally, meaning they're people who are applying for asylum. Aren't they people?
No, these are people who jump over the fence. These are people who swim across the river. They get apprehended, put into a detention facility in El Paso.
And then claim that
they're processed.
Correct.
However, if they come through the actual gate, through the port, they have to wait their turn on the other side.
Yes. And then when they apply for asylum, there's still a ton of them.
Of course.
And there's still, the southern governors would say there's still too many, and they're going to still have to send them somewhere.
Fair distribution amongst the country. I mean, fair distribution, not target, not besiege a city like New York, not besiege, other places. But think about it this way. If everybody got their fair share. Now, I'm particular to the side of if your state or city claims to be asylum, sanctuary cities, and if your politicians predominantly vote for these policies and you're electing these folks, I think you should receive most of these folks, right? But the 3rd Congressional District of New York voted for me. I'm a conservative. I said I'd be hardline on immigration. It's funny that I'm one of 2 Republicans in New York City, yet it's Staten Island, where Nicole Maliotakis serves, and it's NY3, where I serve, that seems to be getting these makeshift super centers. Tonight, they're expecting migrants to be dumped in Staten Island, right? I was watching this on my way here. So just think about that way. Do you know how hard it is to target the only 2 Republican districts when there's an array of Democrat
there's a lot of people in Manhattan.
There's a lot of people everywhere.
There's 100,000 in Manhattan in hotels right now and beyond?
The city's numbers say that's 56,000 they've encountered so far this year. So I don't know.
Yeah. But you've been very critical of Mayor Adams.
Look, you know what's funny? I support the mayor's position, pleading for help, and I've been very supportive of that. But I'm critical of his inaction to do anything further.
What can he do?
He can claim a state of emergency for New York City.
And?
Stop. Look, return to sender. The buses are coming. Hey, Mayor Abbott, here. They're your problem, too.
So send them back and forth on buses? Does that make any... I'm not saying there's a good solution
Is it the best solution? No, but we need to draw a line and say we can't take them. Maybe Governor Abbott's going to send them somewhere else. Dan, the bottom line is New Yorkers are under... This is a pressure cooker right now. Our real estate has already been in a calamity state. The city's unaffordable. The city's become dangerous. We have violent crime in the streets. I know that people like to say that that's all Republican talking points, but I want to see if you think it's Republican talking points when you talk to commuters and they feel unsafe, right? So we need to do something.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.